Invito ahora al Secretario General de las Naciones Unidas, excelentísimo señor António Guterres, a dirigirse al foro.
Dear friends, welcome to the ECOSOC Youth Forum, and thank you for your presence and your engagement. The energy and conviction of young people are infectious and more vital than ever. Our world is bristling with challenges, tragedies, and injustices, many of them linked. The Sustainable Development Goals are way off track. This means children hungry, families trapped in poverty, and young people out of school. The climate crisis is spiraling downward as emissions continue to rise and the fossil fuel industry, in its immense greed, tries to block change at every turn. Great rifts within and between countries are fueling mistrust and eroding solidarity. Inequality and poverty are rife, polarization and hate are spreading, stoked by digital transformation and division. Human rights are under attack, and conflicts are raging around the world. Israel's military operations in Gaza, following the devastating terror attacks by Hamas on 7 October, are having an appalling impact on civilians, including young people. Thousands of children have been killed, thousands more have lost one or both parents. And 100% of young people in Gaza, every single child, is out of school. It is high time for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire, the unconditional release of all hostages, the protection of civilians, and the unimpeded delivery of humanitarian aid. Dear friends, in the face of all this crisis, public trust is plummeting, alienation is growing, and the international system is cracking. The future of multilateralism is at stake. And so we need action and we need justice. And I salute young people around the world for standing up, speaking out, and working for real change. We need you. I'm fully committed to bringing young people into political decision-making, not just listening to your views, but acting on them. We established a new youth office in the United Nations to advance advocacy, coordination, participation, and accountability for and with young people. We will renew the United Nations Youth Strategy to take this work to the next level. And I'm committed to making sure young people have a strong role as we gear up for the Summit of the Future in September. That includes this forum's discussion, virtual consultations on the Pact for the Future, which will include a chapter on youth and future generations, and your work mobilizing in your communities. We are also holding a youth-led action day as the summit begins, so that your voices are heard from the start. We are Dear friends, the Summit of the Future is a pivotal moment to turbocharge the SDGs and reinvigorate multilateralism. We have already put forward a number of concrete ideas on strengthening youth engagement for member states to consider. This includes establishing national youth consultative bodies, a global standard for meaningful youth engagement in decision-making, and creating a UN Youth Town Hall. We are also working to advance a global digital compact to help build a world where digital technologies support sustainable development, including education and jobs for young people. A world where children and young people are protected online, benefit from digital technologies, and have a say in the decisions shaping digital life. We have created a high-level advisory body on artificial intelligence to make recommendations on international governance of AI. This group of experts is gender-balanced. It includes young leaders and people from the Global South, and it is feeding into the Global Digital Compact. We have also proposed a new agenda for peace to renew and strengthen multilateral security frameworks, and to embed young people's participation in peace and security institutions that are funded in full. As we are pushing for reform of the United Nations Security Council and the fundamental overhaul of the international financial architecture, we count on youth engagement and leadership. Many of today's developing countries have no voice when those institutions were established 8 decades ago. These systems were designed by the rich and remain controlled by the rich, and are failing in some of their most basic functions. We must shake off the relics of the past and create institutions that reflect the world today and serve its needs. This is a matter of justice. Dear friends, I urge all member states to get behind our proposals, and I ask young people to join forces with allies and partners across civil society to demand that governments make the summit count. You can start by supporting the Summit of the Future Digital campaigns we are launching today. Take on the Act Now challenge and share it with your networks to show leaders how many of us demand a sustainable future for all. And sign the open letter to world leaders on reviving multilateralism, launched today by the United Nations Youth Office. Beyond the Summit of the Future, I salute young people for being on the front lines for bold climate action. Our climate is in meltdown, and the poorest are paying the price. This is breathtaking injustice and a terrible betrayal of your generation. Governments need to adopt strong policies to accelerate the global phase-out of fossil fuels and the just transition to clean energy. And they need to create new national climate plans by 2025 that align with 1.5 degrees Celsius limit. And they need to bring young people into this work meaningfully. The transition to renewables must be just, and it must be sustainable. And we will soon launch our panel on critical energy transition minerals to help to ensure developing countries benefit fully from this transition. My Youth Advisory Group on Climate Change will have a seat on this panel and will help to engage young people in its work. Developed countries must also keep their promises on climate finance, and governments must make generous contributions to the new Loss and Damage Fund as a step towards climate justice. And we must all push to get finance flowing to sustainable development more broadly to turbocharge the Sustainable Development Goals. That includes countries backing and implementing our plans for an SDG stimulus and supporting deep reforms to the multilateral development banks. Dear friends, every generation serves as caretaker of this world. Let's be honest, mine has been careless with that responsibility. But yours gives me hope. The United Nations stands with you, and together let's deliver justice, let's deliver solutions, and let's create a world of peace and prosperity for all, and I thank you.
Doy las gracias muy sinceramente al Secretario General por estar con nosotros acá y por su intervención.